is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. First, the headlines. Sheriff to swear in elected LG chairman Monday. Court orders Lai Mohammed to defend ex-agreement. NBA gives IGP 7 days to stop CMRIS. AFDP president warns against food importation in Nigeria. World leaders condemn Trump rally shooting. Sooners wants Southgate to drop Hurricane. Daddy Freeze speaks on 5 million naira adultery court fine. Now the news in details. Delta State Governor Sheriff Oberowori will on Monday, July 15, 2024, swear in the newly elected chairman of the 25th Local Government Council in the state. This follows Saturday's local government elections conducted by Delta State Independent Electoral Commission for chairman and councillors in the 25 local government areas of the state. The People's Democratic Party won the July 13th council polls in the 24 local government areas in Delta State, and the results of the election were announced on Sunday in Asaba at the headquarters of the Delta State Independent Electoral Commission after the declaration of the results by the LGA returning officers. While the DSIEC chairman, Dr. Jerry Agbaike, said the Allied People's Movement won in one area. A statement signed by the Permanent Secretary, Protocol Government House, A.N. Tetsola, on Sunday said the swearing-in ceremony will commence at 10 a.m. at the Event Center, Asaba. Meanwhile, the former chairman of Warri South Local Government Area, Dr. Michael Tidi, has lauded operatives of the Delta State Police Command and other security agencies for the security arrangements put in place at Saturday Central Senatorial District, described the election as a mere coronation of all PDP-nominated candidates, and faulted the state electoral umpire, saying they most probably acted on the instructions of the state governor, who just allotted figures to candidates who took part in the shambolic process, and described the elections as a complete sham and a mockery of democratic ideals and standards. People's Democratic Party in Abia State is calling on the presidency to submit an executive bill to the National Assembly to effect the constitutional amendment to ensure local government autonomy following the judgment of the Supreme Court granting local government autonomy. The Abia PDP Vice Chairman and Acting State Publicity Secretary Abraham Ama, who disclosed this, commended the Supreme Court for laying to rest the long-standing issue of local government autonomy and wholeheartedly supported the significant development. The PDP also advised President Tinubu that to further strengthen the autonomy and free local governments from undue political influence, the presidency needs to swiftly submit an executive bill to the National Assembly for a constitutional amendment reflecting the autonomy of local governments. The party said the proposed constitutional revision should include measures such as dissolving the current local government service commissions and establish bodies at the local council level to manage employees and guarantee their pensions through a well-structured contributory scheme. Abia State Governor Alex Oti has denied his government did not receive any money from the federal government to implement 35,000 naira wage award for workers in the state. The governor, however, promised to look into the wage award demands of Abia workers, reiterating his administration's commitment to enhancing welfare of the members of the state workforce. Oti disclosed this during a meeting with the leadership of the organized labor in the state, said the new ministry will have its commissioner from the labor fold, and reassured that his administration would continue to honor its promise to pay salaries to Abia workers on the 28th day of every month, and his administration has not defaulted on the commitment. He also promised to raise the take-home pay of hard-working civil servants in the light of the present economic realities, stressing that the proposal had been delayed by the difficulty in reaching an agreement on the new minimum wage between the organized labor unions and the federal government. Governor Oti said Abia will be among the first to pay whatever becomes the new national minimum wage, and urged the workers to have patience, understanding, and make self-sacrifices of hard work to get their reward. Anambra State Police Command has begun the search for kidnappers that abducted no fewer than 3 persons at different locations in the state, and also to rescue the victims. According to some videos circulating on social media, one of the abductions occurred at Ifiti Amanense Aqua Road in Aqua North local government area on Saturday afternoon, while the other one occurred along the Agulu Oraku Road in Anocha local government on Saturday evening. In the video, 2 yet-to-be-identified occupants of a sports utility vehicle were kidnapped by gunmen on Saturday afternoon at the Ifite Amanse Aqua, close to the Nnamdi Azikiwe University's second gate, while one yet-to-be-identified person was taken away by another set of gunmen along the Agulu Arauco Road. Reacting to the development, in a statement on Sunday, the Anambra State Police spokesman SP Tochukwu Ikenga said after studying the videos, the police responding team recovered victims, vehicles, and placed joint. Ikenga said manhunt and rescue operations are still ongoing in the localities to rescue victims and arrest the assailants as directed by the Commissioner of Police in Anambra State. Lagos State Government is planning to commence the e-call-up system for managing truck movements within the axis from 1st August 2024. The State Commissioner for Transportation, Oluwaseun Oshiemi, who disclosed this, said the move is driven by the urgent need to implement a sustainable and technology-driven solution for truck movement in the Lekki-Ekpe corridor and avert severe congestion by articulated trucks and improve the efficiency of logistics operations within the Lekki-Ekpe Free Trade Zone corridor. He also said the application of an e-call-up system will help synchronize movement of trucks, assessing the Lekki Deep Seaport and other industries within the corridor, starting from Eloko Junction to Lekki Free Trade Zone, and highlighting the state and federal government plans for road network expansion and intermodal transport systems to streamline vehicular traffic and enhancing free movement in one of Lagos' most critical economic zones. Also speaking on the development, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Transportation, Honorable Sola Giwa, who is saddled with the enforcement of the e-call-up system of the corridor, mentioned that an interim arrangement is being put in place to decongest the roads through evacuation of all illegal tankers from the red zone by a joint task force of the state and security agencies, and stakeholders urged truck operators and logistic companies to comply with the new system to ensure its success. He also said the e-call-up system, an advanced digital platform, is designed to regulate the entry and exit of trucks in the Lekki-Ekpe area by scheduling and coordinating their movements. This system will help prevent the chaotic traffic situations often caused by the indiscriminate parking and movement of trucks within the corridor. Fatal crash involving a petrol tanker has resulted in the deaths of at least 3 people, including the driver Salau Samiu and his assistant known as Sahid at Imope village in Oru Ijebu along the Ijebu-Ode-Ibadan Expressway in Ogun State. The spokesperson for the Ogun State Police Command, Omolola Odutola, said the truck was carrying 45,000 liters of petrol loaded from Pinnacle Petrol Depot in Lagos and was traveling from Ijebu-Ode towards Ibadan, Oyo State. He said initial investigation into the accident, with the scene being visited by the Divisional Police Officer, Oru Division, who mobilized traffic personnel to halt vehicular movement, as well as the Ogun State Fire Service, who responded swiftly, and the inferno was surmounted. The police also said the bodies of Salah, Semir and Sahid have been deposited in the State General Hospital mortuary after emergency services, the Federal Road Safety Corps, OGS Trace and other security stakeholders were mobilized to manage the situation and clear the roadway where the tanker carrying 33,000 liters of PMS fell at Odosede in the Akeja area along Osi Ikola in Ota. Nigerian Medical Association in Kogi State has suspended its chairman, Dr. Olusola Baoku, for alleged constitutional, administrative and financial breaches. Former chairman of NMA, Dr. David Ayemila, who disclosed this at an emergency congress held in Lokoja, the state capital, stating that a committee has been constituted to hold sway till August 11, 2024, when election that will produce a new state executives will be conducted. He also said the Congress resolved to ensure there is no vacuum by empowering the committee of past chairmen, chaired by Ayemila and Dr. Zubair Kabiru, as secretary, to take over the running of the association till when a new election is expected to be conducted and new officers emerge. Ayemila attributed the crisis that affected the association to the way the suspended chairman handled the association's affairs and blamed the inability of the disbanded state officers to organize meetings, stressing that a decision had been taken to have a new organ that will steer the affairs of the association. Suspected bandits have freed the two abducted journalists and family members in Kaduna State after spending 7 days in captivity. The two journalists were the nation's Abdul Ghaffar Alabelewe and his Blueprint newspaper counterpart Abdul Rahim Audu, and their wives as well as children were released on Saturday night by some bandits. This is coming after the bandits had in large number invaded their Dahono community in the Millennium City axis of Chikun local government area of the state around 10:30 p.m., while Alabelewe is the current chairman of the Correspondence Chapel of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, Kaduna State Council. Announcing their release, the chairperson of the Kaduna Council of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, Asmao Yawo Halilu, said the two journalists and their families have been released. Yawo Halilu thanked the National Security Advisor, Director General of the Department of State Services, Inspector General of Police, Kaduna State Government, as well as the NUJ National President. Suspected smugglers have killed Inspector of Customs Hamza Abdullahi Elenwo of the Nigeria Customs Service Federal Operator to the country, hit the operative while trying to evade arrest, and the slain officer was rushed to General Hospital Kazare and later transferred to the Federal Medical Center Katsina, where he was confirmed dead by the doctor on duty. The customs spokesperson also said the deceased has been laid to rest in accordance to Islam rights. He quoted the head of Federal Operations Unit Zone B, Comptroller Amadou Shuaibu, to have, on behalf of the entire officers and men of the unit, extend his heartfelt condolence to the deceased family and prayed for his external rest. Troops of the 6th Brigade Nigerian Army and Sector 3 Operation World Stroke OPWS have again apprehended two notorious terrorists in Taraba State. The brigade's public relations officer, Oni Olubondunde, said the feat was achieved after a fierce shootout with the terrorists on July 2024. A statement on Sunday said the shootout took place at Geshi Village along Rafinkada Road in Damisa Ward of Donga, local government council of the state, and the operation led to the recovery of two motorcycles used by the criminals. While commending the troops for their bravery, swift response and dedication to duty, the brigade commander, Brigadier Kinsley Uwa, affirmed that the brigade will continue to intensify efforts to rid Taraba State of criminal elements, urging the public to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activities. In another development, troops of Headquarters 6 Brigade, while on routine patrol with the Jalingo metropolis, found a 9-year-old pupil named Dorothy Kwatsumen wandering around in her school uniform at Gongo Maliki area in Yoro Council. A preliminary investigation to determine the name of her school and the location of her parents or guardians proved abortive, and the 9-year-old girl, whom the army said was moved immediately to the brigade headquarters for custody until her parents were located, said she was a pupil of Glory Children Academy. Analyst has advocated dialogue as the solution to avert the recent fire outbreak at the palace of the Emir of Kano. Speaking on Atlantic television program Open Air, sociopolitical analyst Zoe Tamunotoye urged both the government and relevant stakeholders to pursue dialogue in order to forestall further occurrences.
The stakeholders, the governments of the day, should intervene and immediately bring this to a rest. They should come to the round table, because I'm worried with our courts these days. The judgments from our courts are not solving the problem. They are supposed to solve the problems of this kind of crisis. However, conflicting judgments here and there. So I would suggest,
or it might be your family right, but as it has a state outlook, I mean, by your being on the throne, as it concerns Adebayaro now, is in the hands of the government of the day. The government of the day needs to make laws that govern both the local government and the traditional institutions. Because, as I always say here, for the fact that the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs are domiciled within the state purview, it is only the governor that determines who stays on the seat. Why the
Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, and the Ministry of Education to disclose the details of the agreement between the federal government and X, formerly Twitter, to assess whether the agreement complies with the exercise of Nigerians' human rights online. According to a statement issued by the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project's Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadare, on Sunday, the judgment was delivered in May 2024 by Justice Nnamdi Dingba, following a Freedom of Information suit filed by the organization. In his judgment, Justice Dingba held that the former minister and the Ministry of Information are directed and compelled to provide a copy of the agreement between the Nigerian government and Twitter to Serap solely to ascertain its impact on the protection of fundamental human rights of Nigerians. The judge dismissed the objections raised by the Minister Council and upheld Serap's argument, adding that the former minister has failed to prove that the president followed the due process of law to designate Twitter as a critical national information infrastructure upon the National Security Advisor's recommendation and issued an order in the Federal Gazette in that regard. He said the details of the agreement as requested by Serap will not interfere with the commercial interests and trade secrets of Twitter or lead to financial losses even as the former minister has failed to prove the facts, stressing the Section 15(4) of the Freedom of Information Act envisages only real, not hypothetical financial loss or gain to the competitive position or of interference with contractual or other negotiation of a third party like Twitter, which could be affected by the disclosure. Pan-Yoruba Socio-Political Association, Afeni Fere, and the Ohaneze Ndigbo worldwide have disagreed over the Supreme Court judgment that granted total financial autonomy to local governments in Nigeria. This is coming after the Supreme Court declared that it is unconstitutional for state governors to hold funds allocated for local government administrations, adding that a state government has no power to appoint a caretaker committee, while a local government council is only recognizable with a democratically elected government. Meanwhile, Afenifere, in a statement by the National Public Secretary, Chief Ayo Adebanjo, and Prince Justice Faloye, described the Apex Court's judgment as a mere judicial conspiracy in chaos with President Tinubu's administration against the Nigerian state and its foundational principles of federalism. However, the National Publicity Secretary of the Police Force's issuance of the CMRIS certificate, stating that no law had guaranteed the police the authority to issue such licenses or certificates to vehicle owners following vehicle registration at the appropriate offices. It also demanded an immediate halt to the issuance and enforcement of the CMRIS certificates, while urging the Inspector General of Police to issue a directive stopping the practice nationwide. The association also called for the shutdown of the registration website and physical registration centers, with refunds to be made to those, adding that the police's duty to protect citizens and enforce the law does not extend to collecting money or issuing certificates to vehicle owners. They condemned the exploitation of Nigerian ignorance, resulting in extortion during road searches, while the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Betokun, has ordered the enforcement of the digitalized Central Motor Registry by July 29, 2024. You are watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We return after this break.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
We just dey vote for government, but we no get good governance.
At all.
Road so e no dey, light o usa, the infrastructure nko e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No vex, now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. I will call you back.
That behavior no good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadayi Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now the rest of our stories. All Progressives Congress has dismissed claims by Senate Chief Whip Ali Ndume that President Bola Tinubu was caged in the presidential villa away from the sufferings of Nigerians. APC National Publicity Secretary Felix Morka said Ndume was frustrated over his inability to access Tinubu at will. This is coming after Senator Ndume had accused Tinubu of shutting his doors to ministers and the National Assembly members, adding that the president was being shielded from his ministers and lawmakers. However, Morka said the lawmaker has access to the entire machineries of the federal government, which he did not take advantage of, while urging to follow laid-down processes. President of the African Development Bank Group, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, has warned that the decision by the federal government to allow massive food importation may destroy the country's agriculture sector. Adesina, who spoke federal government has approved the award of a contract to meet 187 crude oil flow stations in the Niger Delta region by the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources on Oil, Henikin Lokpobiri, who disclosed this in Abuja, said that the metering was intended to properly account for the country's oil production and export. Lokpobiri said the project is aimed at curbing crude oil theft within a completion timeline of 180 days, adding that the development was to ensure that they have proper accountability in view of the fact that the Federal Executive Council has approved the metering of oil production. He also said the latest data by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, Nigeria has maintained its position as the largest crude oil producer in Africa as its crude production rose to 1.276 million barrels per day in June 2024. National Bureau of Statistics will officially declare its Consumer Price Index and inflation report for June 2024 on Monday. This is coming after the NBS had earlier said Nigeria's inflation rose for the 17th time straight in May 2024 to 33.95%, while the rising food inflation increased to 40.66% in May. Speaking on the country's inflation in June 2024, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, said there is a declaration in the month-on-month inflation rates, and the Monetary Policy Committee will tame Nigeria's inflation through conventional means. He also projected that the country's inflation rate will moderate in the coming months. The Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives, Bismarck Rowain, had also predicted that Nigeria's inflation and food price hikes will decline from July to August 2024. Kenya's acting police chief, Douglas Kanja, says about 8 bodies, of all of them female, have been recovered so far from a dump site in Nairobi slum. The police said they were severely dismembered in different states of decomposition and left in sacks, adding that investigations into the gruesome find are ongoing. Kanja said the first 6 corpses were found on function in the investigation to bring the perpetrators of the heinous acts to book. Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, has expressed shock over the assassination attempt on former United States U.S. President Donald Trump. Netanyahu said the assassination attempt was not just an attack on Trump, but the United States. This is coming after a 20-year-old Lonnie's apprehension, updates from Pennsylvania, and wished Trump a speedy recovery, while Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky said he was appalled to learn the shooting and wished Trump a speedy recovery. In Argentina's President Javier Milei blamed the international left after the assassination attempt, while in Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva said the shooting must be strongly condemned by all defenders of the democracy and political dialogue. Jennifer Echegini is elated to be part of Super Falcons squad for the 2024 Olympic Games. Echegini was a surprise inclusion in Randy Waldrum's squad for last year's FIFA Women's World